live. Okay. Hello everybody. I'm so sorry for the wait, but we're here. We're having technical difficulties, and we're still waiting for a queen to come. But I'm sure she'll come as soon as she can. Okay. But we already have this whole beautiful panel of queens. This is Polygamy or Nah, Part 2. And a lot of you already saw Part 1, and you guys know it was a really good debate. A lot of good information was shared back and forth. And I know this will be the same. We have a very intelligent whole cater of beautiful queens to give y'all information on polygamy or on monogamy. So this event is being brought to you by the New Bible. If any of y'all wasn't familiar with that, it has nothing to do with religion or Christianity. It's actually the message that you are your own scripture, and all the answers are pretty much inside of you. Good, bad, right, and wrong. It's a project that is coming out in September 9th, 2016, and the mixtape will be out June 18th, so get ready for that. Now, what is polygamy? So, for those of you who do not know what polygamy is pretty much having multiple, or being married to multiple partners, not just multiple wives, because you also have scenarios where people are married to multiple husbands, okay, or they're married to both. Polygamy is the umbrella term for all of these type of relations and marriages, okay. Most people, when they talk about polygamy, they're really talking about polygyny, which is normally practiced by, can everybody make sure your mics are muted? But polygyny is practiced normally by people of religious faith, and also by ancient Africans. And polygyny is normally one husband, okay, and multiple wives. And then you also have polyandry, which is one wife and multiple husbands. But then you have polyamory, which is not a marriage. It is pretty much multiple partners, and they all know that they are together and sharing a relationship with each other. And of course, monogamy is being with one person. Well, today it's being with one person at a time. It used to be with one person your whole entire life. So that's polygamy and that's monogamy. And today we are here to talk about polygamy in the black community. So it's not just about polygamy, period, you know, like the Mormons who practice it, but it's about polygamy and polygyny and monogamy for the black community. Okay, so the rules go as follows. 1, all queens know that they must respect each other and must respect each other's input. 2, queens are not to cut each other off. Okay, everybody must let everybody finish. 3, you must keep your responses, your rebuttals, or your comments and viewpoints lower than 3 minutes. Okay, now if anybody is caught disobeying the rules, they will be muted for 5 minutes. It is not anything for anybody to take personally, but it is to keep order during the debate/discussion. Now remember, this is called debate/discussion because you do not just have to debate each other. You can also discuss some of the things that you disagree on. That's very important for us to know. Remember that debates are not specifically for the people debating. It's for the audience. It's for the audience. It's very important for the audience to seek and get the knowledge out of the debate. Now I'm going to ask each queen to introduce herself. And I'm going to start from my queen all the way from the UK, from London. Please introduce yourself, queen.
Hi everyone, my name is Salome, but you can call me Sally. What do you want to know about me? I come from London. I'm on team polygamy, and yeah.
Okay, all right. There we go, all the way from London. Okay, now I'm going to take it all the way to South Jersey. Please introduce yourself, queen.
My name is Nasira, and yep, I'm from Camden, New Jersey, and I'm on team monogamy.
All right, all right. She's being humble. She's also a very, very, very good dancer. That's how I met her. But moving on to my swing sister and Swing 5 Swing Sister Fellowship Incorporated. non-Greek Pan-Africanist organization. Please introduce yourself, Queen.
Hi everyone, I'm Lena. I'm on team do whatever you like.
Are you going to introduce anything else about yourself, Queen?
I like traveling
She
and
likes
walks on the
travel
beach.
and walks on the beach. Well, that's fine. All right. Now I'm going to take it over to another queen who travels a lot. I think she just got back from New York. Can you please introduce yourself, Queen?
Hi everybody, I'm Vasta. I'm on Team Polygamy, and I do travel a lot. I'm going to Africa at the end of this month for 2 months. So I'm glad to be on the panel before I head out.
That's awesome.
Word, word, word. Okay, now I want to take it to my gym sister, Groover Minute Mark, from Bowie State University. Please introduce yourself. Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself and talk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley from Bowie State University, and I'm Team Monogamy.
Okay. So, yeah, let's get this thing going. Now there will be 3 rounds, people, so you can be very entertained. Now, I'm sorry to tell you, this even goes out to a lot of my people who are in Groove 5 Groove, Sister Fellowship Incorporated, 25 Sister Fellowship Incorporated, in my gyms. Please know that I was not lying. I'm not going to be biased. I'm not answering your questions if you did not repost one of the promotion videos or pictures. I'm sorry. Okay, I already have people who did that, and I'm going to be answering their questions. If you did not do that, then I cannot put your question on air. That goes to everybody watching this. But if you did, you know I got you. Okay? So we're going to start off with round 1. Okay? Why polygamy or why not? Okay? Now we're going to start with our sister from London. Why polygamy?
Okay. For me, I kind of like started with just like it's in my family, so it's not seen as anything bad. And also, I like the fact that you're not just with one person, because a lot of people can bring you a lot of experiences, and it's better to share with many people than just 2 single people. So that's why I prefer polygamy.
Okay, all right. Okay, and again, I want to ask all the queens, when you're not talking, mute your mic, because any sound will redirect the camera to you. So make sure that your mic is muted when you're not talking. Okay, now I'm going to go to my queen of impressions. Can you please tell me why polygamy?
Yeah. I think that especially for people in the Black community, there's been so much that has conditioned us to really fight against each other than to build strong families. And I think the capacity to be able to be functional in a polygamous relationship shows like how we're able to overcome a lot of that conditioning in regards to our selfishness and our like feeling like we own other people. So I think that just being able to be open to polygamy and not feeling threatened by anyone or feeling like you own this other person just shows a lot of potential in the character in our evolution as people. So that's why I understand.
Okay, all right. So we're off at a good start. Now, Ashley, why not polygamy? You're muted, Ashley.
I'm sorry. Okay. So I feel that as far as relationships go, when you're getting the most out of a connection with someone, if one-on-one, you're going to have more emotional, physical, mental support than 1 to 3, 2 to 3, any of that. That's why I support monogamy for relationship building.
Okay, all right. Nasira,
Yes.
can you please explain why not polygamy or why monogamy for yourself or the community?
I I would promote monogamy because I just feel like practicing polygamy is just not that important because we have other things to focus on than focusing on dealing with a bunch of men or a bunch of women and all that, because most of us have at home, self issues that we have to fix. So, I just don't see how it would work.
Okay, all right. Now saving Lena for last.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I don't have any feelings about it one way or the other as long as it's done fairly. If you want to do polygyny, so be it, but I think it should be fair for the woman to have like other lovers. Now, of course, if the guy has a problem with that, then then I have an issue with polygyny. But other than that, I'm all about fairness. And I don't think it's fair if it's just polygyny or just polyandry.
Okay, so let me make sure I clarify that. So your problem isn't necessarily with polygamy, it's with polygyny or polyandry when one person gets multiple wives, but the other person does not get multiple husbands. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So, like, for example, if I were engaged in a polygynous relationship and my husband had 2 wives, the only way I would co-sign that is if I could have a boyfriend or something like that. But anything less than that, then I'm out.
Okay, Sally, how do you
So,
feel about that? Oh, whoever person was that.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
It, I don't know how. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I don't know how I feel about that. It's slightly. I can understand where she's coming from in saying that she wants everything to be fair. But if you're gonna enter a relationship, you shouldn't be entering it because you want to be equal to the next person. You're entering it because it's a union that you enjoy to be in. And there's the spark within that person or that union that you're with or those personnel that you're with. It's not about getting tit for tat, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Go ahead, Lena.
It's not about tit for tat. It's once again, it's about fairness and equality. And I'm not. I personally wouldn't be willing to enter into a relationship that that the rules were not dealt out fairly. I don't think so. Like, why is it that my husband gets the benefit of multiple partners, but I don't? I find this to be unreasonable at best.
can I ask a question?
Go ahead. Anybody can pitch in when you want to pitch in. I just got to make sure you don't talk over each other. Go ahead.
Right.
Okay.
But so you will be having sex with these people at the same time if you
You
were to
mean as in a
engage?
Who's your question towards,
Because
Nas?
it's I don't see your name. It's like just your face. I don't know how to. The person with the headphones on, the lady with the girl with the
Lena?
Oh,
headphones on.
Lena.
Lena, I'm sorry. Yeah, because as females, that we operate different than males because a male impregnates us. So if we're having sex with multiple guys at one time, we may not even know who the child belongs to until the kid is born.
Well, so here's the thing. That challenge, if you will, and I use that term very, very loosely. It's a very simple. There's a very simple solution to that, and that's called like contraception. I would be able to like have sex with whomever I wanted to, but if I want to get pregnant with someone, then of course I would take the proper steps. But other than that, it's a simple matter of contraception.
So what's the point of being in a polygamous relationship if it's not for the family purposes?
I don't understand.
Can you
Okay, so
rephrase your question out there?
okay, so I'll rephrase it. So would you be in a polygamous relationship and never have kids with either any of the your partners?
If I don't want children, no.
So your angle would be that it's just a self thing where it's satisfying you. there's no bigger picture than just I want to have multiple partners. There's no other picture besides that. Like there's nothing else going on within that situation.
So your question perplexes me a little bit, because once again, like if my husband is having, you know, multiple partners or whatever, and remember, everyone can't be everything to everyone. So if my husband gets that opportunity, then I should be granted that opportunity as well. And if you want to build a family, and if I, you know, want to build a family, you most certainly can do that. I totally believe that more love managed responsibly does mean more love. I hope that answers your question. If not, I don't mind clarifying.
Okay, well, before we go back to that, I think that you guys brought up a very good point, which is reproduction. A lot of people believe in polygyny also for reproductive purposes, and they say, at least when you read a lot of, let's say, books on polygyny and the history of polygyny and polygamy, as far as humans are concerned, the reason why we did it was because it was the best way to reproduce. So what happens in society now where people really don't want to reproduce, really don't want to have kids? And I want to take this question I'm sorry, I only remember you as Joe from the email, but I want to ask you, um, is your reason with polygyny pretty much meeting up with babies and reproduction, or is it a higher cause to it other than making babies? And last but not least, how do you pitch something like that to a people who kind of see babies as a burden?
Yeah, babies are messy. No, I think that I understand what Lena was saying in regards to wanting to have the equality because you have one person who has multiple partners, and so it's like, okay, well, why can't I have it too? But I don't think that necessarily equality is being able to have multiple partners, because like what that partner is actually able to do is different. Like the other sister said, like a man being able to have multiple women can have multiple children at a time. So it's not like it's not reducing it just to the physical or emotional satisfaction that the man can get or the woman can get. But I think with polygyny as a whole, I do think that it depends on what culture it is that you're practicing polygamy in. So if you're having it in a culture where the emphasis is children, then the more women it's preferable to have more women, not necessarily just to have more kids, but just to have more women to support raising the children. Because I mean, I'm sure we've all had experiences with our own mothers and them just being exhausted at the end of the day after raising 2, 3, 4 kids, and having to have the support of other women is helpful. So, but it depends on what structure it is that is embodying the polygamy. And I think that's really a big problem within the African American community here, because a lot of us are kind of just winging it. Like we just know that polygamy is something our ancestors did. And so now we're like, okay, well, now I am a guy and I want to have multiple women. But there's no like structure that is like laying down what's the foundation and the responsibilities for the man and for the woman. So then that would really set the terms for like what one person should or shouldn't be. And then
Okay.
okay.
Okay, Linda, you wanted to reply to that?
I'm confused by the idea that it seems to me. What is your name, sister, in the blue dress? Ibasta. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm confused by the idea that men cannot be nurturing. I think you said that perhaps more women would be ideal because women are more nurturing, but I'm not necessarily sure that I believe that or agree with that statement. I'm the product. Of course I had my mother and my aunt and all of that stuff, but also I do believe some of the best nurturing I have received came from men. And I think it's a little bit dangerous to hold on to these ideas that, you know, women are this way, or women are more this way because this is our nature, and men are more this way because it is our nature. These are ideas that are very archaic, perhaps even antiquated, and it might be doing us more harm than good than, you know, just holding on to them the way that we are, with all due respect.
Okay, I actually want to hear Sally's rebuttal to that statement.
Okay. To be quite honest, polygamy is more. It's more than just having kids running around and having this one man netting over these like women. It's what about the community sense about it? Just having, you know, a neighbor that's, hey, you know, that's close to you and understands that you are in a family unit. So that's just much stronger. And if you put emotions aside, if you put emotions aside and you're not greedy or selfish, then that community works. That structure works very much. So I don't really have a rebuttal for her too much to say, but I just wanted to kind of like bring that out to the first question that you asked.
Go ahead, Lena.
So I think also we need to, I think we also need to be careful of words like greedy and selfish and emotional, because these are things that make us human. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting what you want. I mean, of course, you know, share and, you know, be giving and all of that stuff. But I don't think that, you know, wanting multiple partners because your husband has multiple partners and that's just how you feel personally. I don't think that that's necessarily, actually, I don't think that that's greedy or selfish at all. Like I think that perhaps, you know, once again, if managed responsibly, it can work. And also, I'm not, you know, the idea of family and community, it's wonderful and all that, and you can have that. You can have that in a polygamous relationship. You can have it in a monogamous relationship. You can have it in a whatever else comes next, you know. But we have to also understand that there are expanding variations on family and what family is and what that looks like.
Okay, great rebuttal. Now I want to ask Ashley, what is the main problem with polygamy? What is the main problem with polygamy in the Black community?
Okay. So I feel the main. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think. Hold on. I think the Divine Stargate is trying to enter the conversation. Hello, please.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
Can you let everybody know who you are before we move on with the next question?
Peace. I am Goddess Ayana. Goddess Ayana on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at Divine Stargate, and I'm a Black activist in my community. A stay-at-home mom, an entrepreneur, and a student.
Okay, great to have you. So Ashley, what is the main problem with polygamy in the Black community that you can see?
Okay. So I feel that the main problem with it is that as far as polygamy goes, it's not really helping the union of man and woman together. With polygamy, it's kind of like just letting everyone, you know, you pick this woman, you know, for a couple of years, and you have another one you add on. It's like you're not really giving that woman a full 100% of yourself. It's like they're only getting a piece of the man, which really isn't equitable or fair. Also, I feel the biggest problem with polygamy is that, you know, they're saying community and all of that is important, and, you know, taking care of like the women who, you know, may have children and no husband. But my thing is that you can do all of that as far as community building, you know, helping other sisters out without having to, you know, be married with them or have sex with them. You know, you can do that just as a part of within your own relationship, just doing things in the community for those individuals that would need help. I don't feel that polygamy is the best way to address those issues.
Okay, do we have a rebuttal from Team Polygamy?
I mean, okay, first of all, we're not saying that polygamy is going to fix the black people's problem. No, it's not going to fix the majority problem. But what it is it builds character within yourself as well. The fact that you can share someone that you love with someone else and not feel any type of way about it, say something about you. You can't say this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. That's like slavery all over again. And it just it just doesn't it's weird. And yeah, it's just weird. Sorry.
Well, can you explain how you say how a monogamous relationship is parallel with slavery?
Possession and ownership of somebody, I believe, is where she was going with that.
But see, slavery was not a choice. I don't think any of our ancestors chose to be slaves. Monogamy is a choice that you make. It's not forced.
But a lot of
you marry someone. I think it's.
I'm sorry. Well, I feel like a lot of us choose slavery these days and age. We choose debt slavery, wage slavery. There's a lot of ways that we can enslave ourselves, and it doesn't have to do with physical chains. So when it comes to love, as the sister was talking about, in a possessive and ownership sense, like, oh no, this is my man, and I know my man wasn't acting like that. That type of connotation is like that of ownership. You own somebody as if they don't have their own free will. I believe that black men and women have a great capacity to love, and when you get a black man that has all the righteous love within him, he knows how to balance the women that he loves, and I believe it can be a very beautiful thing, an empowering thing. It's a way to rapidly evolve our economy. It's a very great economic tool, I believe polygamy is. But yeah, sorry.
Right. I'm saying is that the economic benefits that you're saying of polygamy, you can get those without having to be polygamous, marriage and sex with that person. That's what I'm saying. You can have that without, like you see my point in that regard.
Okay, true. Okay, but this is the thing about polygamy. Mm-hmm. Love is the strongest tie you can have in this universe. So when you have people that, so let's say you have friends doing that, the communal type of living and building together. Well, you've got them. They want to. You have people that can break away and do their own thing. But when you have a love tied to one another, you have this capacity to want to grow with somebody, enhance them. You know that what you put into them, they're going to put back into you in a relationship. So, what the difference between that and communal living is the tie of love amongst one another that would keep you guys together and in it for the long haul versus friends that get together. Oh, this is a communal thing. Friends come and go. You move on. But when it comes to relationships, a lot of times we commit to growing the relationship and evolving in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's right.
But as you know, love is not forever. You can love someone and relationship is over 2 years later. There are some friends who you're friends with for your whole life. So you can't really say just because you love them, it's going to be a stronger community built. You know what I'm saying? Have that with friendship. Hey, with love. Love does not mean you're going to be together forever. Like that's
true.
Okay. I'm going to have to pause that back and forth and let Lena say something.
Okay. Oh, Lena.
Sorry, Lena.
Yeah. I'm with my sister over here. What's your name? Groove Gem?
Ashley.
Ayana?
Ashley.
Oh, Ashley. Okay.
Ashley. Yes. All right. That's my middle name. I'll be able to remember that. Cool. I'm with Ashley on that one. Love is great. I love love, but love is also a roll of the dice, and it's gonna be more difficult if you're rolling the dice with multiple people. And we also have to remember that love is flexible and it's flowing. It changes, and there's different kinds of love. There is jealous love. There is resentment.
Jealousy.
She has to finish. Go ahead, Lena.
Oh, it absolutely is in its own way. I mean, of course, like we all have our ideas of what love looks like, but like who am I to tell you what it looks like, or who are you to tell me what it looks like? And I say that very, very respectfully. For example, there were black women during slavery who chose to kill their children rather than allow them to live a life of servitude. To them, that is an act of love. To us, that might seem barbaric. So we have to be very careful with how we label things, and how we say, well, love only looks like this and love only looks like that. That's just my thoughts.
Can I get a rebuttal from Ayana?
I feel what you're saying, but I don't believe that love is jealous. And I know what you're saying, like, we can't put labels on love, but I feel like love is the feeling of just ultimate feeling of expression, of creativity, and really accepting yourself and someone else. So I don't think that love could be jealous. I believe that that's something that is not love. A jealousy comes from fear of not being good enough, an insecurity, if you will. And I believe, when it comes to love and your friends' love and romantic love, I believe that your romantic partner, you're closer to your romantic partner than you are with your friends. And so when it comes to like a romantic relationship, in polygamy, you're going to be more open with somebody that you're romantically involved with rather than somebody you're just friends with. So I just believe it's a deeper connection and a stronger bond when it comes to romantic partners versus doing communal living.
We have a rebuttal from Nasir.
Yes. Now, I really do hear what you're saying. However, I'm going to use myself. I am not the type to be in a polygamous relationship. Just period. That does not make me less of a person. That does not mean that I can't love properly. I use mathematics. If I give my all to somebody, I have nothing left to give to somebody else. If a man is giving his all to me, he has nothing left to give to somebody else. If you do the math and, live on this real plane of life, when you fall in love with somebody, your energies intertwine with each other. And that's why when there's a breakup, there's a real heartbreak. That's what the heartbreak is. It's a breakdown of the energy that was connecting you and this person. So if I had 5 marbles and that's all I got, and he got 5 marbles and that's all he got, and and we all putting it in the pot together, how are we sharing it with other people?
Go ahead, Ayana, and then we'll go to Sally, and then we'll move on to the next question.
Okay, just real quick, I give all my love to my children, and I have enough love to give both of my children individually. So when it comes to love, it's not necessarily, we can't equate it to necessarily marbles, because these are little things that are physical. You can touch them. Love is, you can touch love, but you can't touch love. Love is everywhere. You can't quite compare it, I think, to marbles, because I have plenty. If I have another child, which hopefully I will, I'll have all my love to all 3 of my children, and I can divide or not even divide, because it's not about dividing your love. You're just expressing your love to each child individually.
I agree.
Oh.
I agree. However, I agree. But I recently just had a baby. He's 2 months. But
Congratulations.
I thank you.
Congrats.
I thought I knew love. I've been in love before, before I had my kid. I thought I knew love, but when I had my son, it was a whole different kind of love. So the kind of love that we're talking about is not that kind of love. It's not that kind of love, because the kind of love that I have with my son is way different.
Right.
From the love that I would have for a partner. It's like different.
From romantic love from a partner versus the love that you have for a child, of course. But what I'm saying is the concept of loving more than one child, you can apply that to a partner. You can love more than one partner.
Okay, now we have to, I'm sorry, but we have to move that on to Sally, and then we got to get to the next one. Time's running.
So first of all, love is a universal concept. It's not here or there. It's always constant. I understand love is complex, but when you come into a polygamous kind of relationship, you guys are vibrating on a different level that other people may not be vibrating for them to understand that. And it takes a strong person, a really strong person, mentally, physically, spiritually, to engage in that. And once you build that kind of foundation, like the pyramid, it's not going to be torn down easily. So that's the kind of in terms of love, that's that. I hope that made sense. Also, what I mean, she meant by you can share, you can have 10 kids and love them all differently, but yet in some ways it's still it's still equal. You can do that with your your partner can do that with as many partners that they might have. You're not just you need to understand that the women are not going to be treated equally, because they're not equal. They're all different. They all have different personalities, kind of different characteristics, so they're going to be treated differently. But so as long as they're all treated with respect that they all deserve, then I don't see why it wouldn't go any further. And also, the reason why you love your kids equally is because you don't have jealousy. You're not jealous of your child this one or jealous of that. If you took jealousy out of it, and I can speak from experience, if you took jealousy out of it, then you would see that in a better side.
Okay, now I know everybody would love to put in their 2 cents on that topic, because that was a very deep topic. But we must move on to some things outside of subjectivity, some objective hard facts. Okay, we must talk about the black community, the fact that it is that black women are least likely to get married, that black men are most likely to be incarcerated and or dead. And the fact that this makes our love lives a bit harder, particularly for the black women in the community. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are starting to look at polygamy or polygyny as an option, because a lot of black women are having a hard time finding somebody in marriageable age to be with, because most of the men, or a lot of the men, let me say, are incarcerated or dead, or just not into black women anymore. So I want to start from Team Monogamy first. Whoever wants to speak on that, and then we'll go to Team Polygamy.
I think that the whole idea that, polygamy is the solution to black women's marital problems. Like, well, there aren't enough black men, therefore, we should share black women is a complete cop-out, and I'll say it, and just date outside of your race. Yeah, okay. I said it. Date outside of your race.
She said, yeah, I said it.
Date outside of your race. I am absolutely not willing to miss out on an opportunity at a deep and abiding love simply because he is not my skin folk. I'm not willing to do that. And I'm not willing to share a man and, not get the same, like I say, not get the same simply because, he's black. Like, that doesn't work for me. And I hope that it doesn't work for most of my sisters. Like, get you a Brad or a Kumar or a or a Jose. Like, do what you got to do. But there are more men of color, period, across the United States than there are black women. Like, I think they have us beat by about 84%. So there are options out there.
Okay, all right. Ashley, I'm gonna have to ask you, when you're not on camera, to mute your mic. It keeps going back and forth. But can somebody from Team Polygamy please rebuttal?
Yeah, I'd like to respond to that. I think that you definitely have a point. I think within the black community and people who are interested in seeing a change in it, it's definitely a divide on whether or not it's appropriate to get outside your race. But I do think that the issue with polygamy isn't so much about the lack of black men, but there's just a lack of quality in men, period. And I think that, even with using polygamy as, I think a lot of black men within our community continue to objectify women, but give it some kind of validity. So whereas if you didn't have polygamy to say, then you would just be cheating on a bunch of women. But now you can say, oh, well, actually I'm polygamous, so that's why I am dating all of these women. So I don't think that polygamy on its own is going to heal the black community, but having the quality to be able to do it responsibly, that's the kind of thing that's going to build the community. And everybody doesn't have that, and that's why it wouldn't be successful for everyone. I think of there are a lot of people who are black, and if they do polygamy, they may destroy families and destroy women, and that's not the goal. So that's why I think that people who choose to do polygamy on their own without some kind of structure, whether it's the Mormons, the Hebrew Israelites, whatever your belief is,
you have to have some kind of foundation that you're working in for polygamy to work, in my opinion.
Mayana, you had your hand raised?
Yes. As far as it being a cop-out, I mean, the same people that were building the pyramids were practicing polygamy back in the day. So when we talk about, you know, copping out, we have to realize that our ancestors actually practiced polygamy more than they practiced monogamy back in the day. But as far as when it comes to dating outside of black men, I don't think that is something that should be an option for black women. We should stick together because that's what other races do, and that's how they're getting ahead, by sticking together. I believe that we should never give up on the black man. We should never, because they can always turn around. And you know, a lot of sisters have been hurt, and so a lot of sisters can't get down with it, because if you haven't been around an amazing black man, if you haven't been around a black man walking his potential, maybe you think that he doesn't have the capacity to love you correctly and to love another woman correctly. But I, however, have been in a polygamous relationship. I have been with a man that I was happy to share with my sister. Like, not blood sister, but, you know, just a sister of mine. And it worked out beautifully. We both took care of his needs. And like I said, you look at polygamy, we have to look at our ancestors who practiced polygamy, and we're building pyramids. So we can think that it makes you feel less than or not, but if we look at it, we were building empires back then. And right now, in Jackson, for instance, there's a ratio to black women, single black women, to single black eligible black men is 13-1. So there's 13 women to 1 man. So it might just tell, if I have a strong black man that's capable of loving me and taking care of me and providing for several other women, who am I to say no? If I know I'm secure in if you're insecure, polygamy is not for you. But for women that are very secure in themselves, I can share a man and build with a man and a sister at the same time. And I think it's a beautiful thing and a beautiful concept. And it's not a solution, it's an option. It's an option. And it's a rapid way to grow our economics. And that's
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure. Like I said, it's, you know, if you're secure enough to share a man, so be it. Just make sure that, like, he's secure enough to share you. That's my stance on the matter. But yeah, like 13 women to every 1 man is absolutely unacceptable. And I once again,
no, but that's the ratio. That's the ratio. I'm not saying 13 women should be with 1 man.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we gotta let her finish. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I got what you're saying. I know 13. I'm not saying that 1 man should date 13 women. Like, he'd die. But yeah, 13-1. Like, no, those odds are absolutely terrible. Those odds are not. And you know, like, there's almost no winning that. And so, once again, I would encourage our sisters to consider dating outside of the race. Absolutely, absolutely. Like, I'm not willing to waste time just like waiting on like Mr. Black Man to like show up and just like bless me with like pyramids and shit, you know, when like you know, when he's got all these other options. But here we've got like Brad over here. He's like, hey, you know what, Lena, like, I like you and I feel this way about you. Let's try and do this. You said you were looking very specifically for love, and here I am, willing to give that to you. Why would you why reject that? That would be foolish.
That's like rejecting the devil, because I would reject the devil. The people who have collectively wrought the most havoc on this world and upon our people, I would never befriend them. And I don't think our ancestors look kindly to when we do have relations with people that have abused them and hung them and castrated them and tore babies out of our bodies, you know. So on that end, you know, ancestor-wise, I just wouldn't play with my ancestors like that.
Right, but the funny thing is, like, we have ancestors who did the exact same thing to each other. So it's like, you know, where do you take that? Like, we have to remember, Africa was no utopia. Like, you know, Africa was not a utopia.
But it was utopia.
Okay. Well, we have to. I'm sorry. I sense that we're going to start going to a whole nother topic, so I had to bring us right back to polygamy, and we're going to go to Sally and then to Nasira.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I have to sign out.
Okay, Queen. Peace.
Bye.
Sally?
Okay. First of all, I was born in Kenya. So I'm actually from the continent, Africa, the east side. In terms of you saying that, again, I'm gonna avoid that dating outside the race bullshit, but lack of better words, but bullshit. Okay, for example, in my family, okay, I'll use a personal example. In my family, some of us practice polygamy, some of us for it, some of us are not. And the ones who are for it, it works. Like my great grandparents, both of them, well, three of them are still alive, and they're still practicing polygamy, and it's very smooth. And there's a system, there's a system and a respect that goes along with it. You know, you just don't give up. You wouldn't give up on your kids easily. Like you won't just chuck your kids out on the road and be like, hey, because you did this, go out there. No, you work. It's a working process, and the only way to grow is if you have challenges. Like you're not growing if there's no fucking challenges. So like running away from those challenges, I think like being with just one partner makes it easy for you guys to be like, well, you know, it didn't work, let's just separate. It's like a cowardly move. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, it does take someone who has a lot of confidence and strength to be in a polygamous relationship. I would say that personally as well. When I went into it, I thought I had a lot of confidence and whatever, but it brought a lot of things out of my character that I didn't know. And now that I've worked through them, I'm like, wow, you know what? Oh my God, polygamy is so dope because of X, Y, and Z, and it's just the benefits of it just amazing. I don't understand how you not see that. You know, money wise, the fact that you have people around you to always look out for you, the fact that you know it just builds a lot of character in that. So I don't want to keep talking for long, but
most definitely. Can we move to Nasser and Ashley?
Yeah. So I actually, you know, like I said, like honestly, I'm not necessarily against polygamy. It's just that to me, it's just not that important because it seems like a self. Okay, I prefer to do this kind of thing. Whereas, and technically, I just feel like if anything, I would do polygamy for reproductive purposes, not just because I want to, you know, have this man and this man. Or, you know, I want to have my man share another woman, you know, just because, I'm okay with that, you know. And it does take a strong person to be in a polygamous relationship. And I ain't that strong. And I don't see me ever being that strong. And I always like to look at things in a bigger picture. Like, you know, the bigger picture, I just don't understand. I just don't see where polygamy, I see the benefits of it, but looking at people now, like, yes, our men are incarcerated, but even the men who are incarcerated still really aren't men. Most of them have a lot of issues, just like a lot of women have a lot of issues, because that's just the world that we live in. You know, you might get a man, and you might have a man, and you got 3 different women, and they all 3 of them are on welfare. You know, like that's what I see in my head. You know, it's like, what's the purpose of that? You know, I might as well just be, you know, just be by my lonesome for all that. You know what I mean? Because we already struggle with, you know, because you have to go through 1, and then from 1 you can go to 2, and then from 2 you can go to 3. You start at 1 with 2 people together, and we can't get that right. What are we going to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for?
Okay, that's a fair point. Ashley, please keep it concise. What do you have to say there in rebuttal to everything that was just said?
Okay, so I have a couple points. So one was mentioned how our ancestors, you know, did this, did that. Our ancestors did a lot of things that were good, a lot of things that were bad. Oh, is it on mute? Oh, okay.
No, you're talking.
Okay, sorry. Things that were good, things that were bad. I don't feel that because our ancestors did something, that's a justification for why we should do it now. So to me, that's not really applicable or really a good, like, reasoning for it. Just because my grandmother did this, I'm going to do this. Doesn't really make sense. You should do it because at this point in time, it's, you know, it's applicable.
Point taken, because our ancestors had to go through labor without no drugs, and now we got a choice, so we ain't doing that.
Yeah, I couldn't
just
hear
say
you.
it.
Yeah, but like that, so that's one point I feel that's not really a good. Another thing too is the pyramids. People with the pyramids, I don't think that because they were polygamous, made them stronger. That's not a good, you know, point either. And then 3, I would say, as far as even like interracial dating, the largest number of interracial datings, not even with Black people, is Asian women and white men. So really, interracial relationships, I understand it could help or hurt us. That's not really something that even our community is the biggest proponent of anyway. So I don't really see how that would be necessarily good or bad, but I just feel like all the different examples of the benefits of polygamy, you can have it without the actual polygamous relationship, even the sisterhood and all of that. You don't need polygamy to do it.
I'm going to let Ayana rebuttal, but first, I must throw the fact in there for you, Ashley, that yes, Asian women are the most likely to date out of their race, but Black men are the second most likely to date out of their race. Asian and white people are the most likely to date each other out of their race,
Yeah,
but
no,
then Black men are number 2. Unfortunately, sadly, Black men are the second most likely people to date outside of the race. Unfortunately. But I think that I think that Ashley provided some very good points. But most of those points was based off of what Ayana said. So, Ayana, a rebuttal, and then we're going to go to question and answers.
Okay, real quick. I wasn't saying that should be a reason. Our ancestors did it. That should be a reason. I was saying don't call it a cop out, because when we were doing it back in the day, we was building pyramids. I was just explaining that on that end.
But that's what I meant. I'm saying it's not a correlation between those two. That's the point I was making.
The correlation is not idiotic if people that were building pyramids were doing it. That's what I'm saying. If brilliant people were doing it in all their greatness, then it wasn't to the point like it wasn't something that's insignificant. But polygamy, I think, is a very beautiful thing. I think when people open their minds to the power of polygamy, then we can have more options. Black women will have more options, and I always have to refer back just real quick to another reason why polygamy would be awesome is to give the children fathers. A lot of Black women are single mothers, and if we consolidate, come together, for a man who has, let's say, 2 or 3 baby mamas, let's consolidate, come together, and build together. Then you have things working in our communities where we're having small groups getting together and becoming empowered economically, financially, hopefully emotionally, because you don't want to be in a relationship, period, with someone who's not emotionally stable. But yeah, that's what I had to say to that.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so in this world today, the more kids you have, the more expensive it is.
It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, go ahead. Wait, Nasir. Hold up. Finish, Nasir. Finish.
All right, go ahead.
What do you mean it doesn't have to be that way? That's the way that it is. It's not doesn't have to be that way. That's what it is.
No, that's if you choose to live a certain way. So, for example, you said earlier about drugs. Like back in the day, they didn't have drugs. Now we do. Actually, we did have really potent medicines back in the day. But I would choose, after having one in the hospital and one at home, I would always choose a home birth over drugs anyway, because drugs aren't good for you or the baby. So, I mean, just beneficial wise.
I know that.
Being at home, but okay, so
that also women also. But women also died more often back then
in hospitals.
Now, giving
women die more
childbirth.
often in hospitals than they do at home birth, and they're teaching us the other way around to get us scared so that we will go to the hospitals. Birth is very easy and natural. It's not something you have to have anybody for. You don't have to have a midwife to give birth. It's very
birth is not easy.
Guys, I'm gonna have to stop that back and forth, because again, that's a little bit out of the realms of polygamy or not. But I do have to go to questions and answers. The first question is an Instagram question for Team Polygamy. Okay. Now he asks. This is coming from It's Just Cass BXTCH. Okay. And his question was, he's a groove brother of mine. His question was, when the cycles align and they both go on their period, then what? I think the brother was alluding to clashes of attitude. Ashley, can you please mute your mic? Clashes of, I think he's talking about, moods. Clashes of moods during pyramid. During periods when they all align in the same household. I don't know if it's true or not, but the myth goes if women live in the same household, their period will all synchronize. And some people are worried that in a house full of wives who are sharing the same husband, that this will cause a huge feud in the house. So somebody in Team Polygamy, please.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that not all polygamous systems are gonna be, oh, we're gonna live in one house together. That might not be the case, but if it is the case that they live in the house together, I don't know if that person has sisters, but if you have two women in the house together who have this cycle, not all women get moody, so that's a cliche that we need to drop very quickly. It's actually mainly maybe affect the man sexually because he ain't getting none. But really, the women are okay. We're content. We can control ourselves. We can go do what we're doing. It's nothing really special. It will last a week or 2 days, whatever. It depends on your cycle. So it's not really a clash of moods or a clash of anything because we're menstruating. No, it doesn't happen that way.
Okay. Is anybody else on Team Polygamy you want to answer that before I move on to the next question?
When you're healthy, when you're eating healthy, I don't think you really get PMS. I don't get PMS, so I eat healthy, so that solves that. Just be healthy.
Okay, so Cash, you heard it first. I know you, brother. Good question. Moving on to the next question. This was also an Instagram question before I get to my Facebook questions, but this one's anonymous. He has a queen. I don't think he wants her to know, I believe. I don't know. But it is anonymous. He asked me to make it anonymous. He said that he has a queen. I get this question all the time. So, Team Polygamy, this one's for y'all. The next one's for Team Monogamy. But he has a queen, and she's hardcore monogamy. And from his studies, he has become an advocate for polygamy. How should he go about talking to his wife? They have kids, I believe. Like I said, I get this question all the time in my inbox. How should he go about it as far as talking to his wife about it, or his fiance, or whatever case people may have out there, when she's strongly Team Monogamy? They already established a monogamous relationship, but because of what he has researched and learned, he now wants to practice polygamy. How should he go about this conversation?
Okay.
I think that if you already have a wife and she's very hardcore to monogamy, then I think that if the man is the one to introduce that conversation about polygamy, it's going to automatically get hit with the wall. Because for most people, they're not good. Like for most even women, it's hard to understand what are the benefits of polygamy outside of the sex. And so that's going to be very threatening to a woman who doesn't want to share her man's sex with anybody else. So I think that it would be best, or if a man would like his wife to be interested in polygamy, to facilitate for her to have those conversations with other women who are in successful polygamous relationships. And then also on top of that, for him to talk to men who are in polygamous relationships, because I think men definitely idealize what it would be like to be a husband to multiple women, and instead of really thinking about what it all takes. Like most monogamous men, I've talked to a lot of guys who don't want polygamy for themselves because they know how challenging their one woman is. So it's a really huge responsibility to take on, to be a husband to multiple women. So, and it's to remove the possibility of bias or preference, especially with the sex. You should just facilitate your woman learning from other women. But if your woman says no, it doesn't make sense to create tension and conflict in a marriage with a good wife who's already given you children because you want to have other women. Like it's like a risk that you would have to make if you want to. But if you already have a strong family set and you tried introducing her to polygamy to other women and it's just not happening, then you just have to accept that in this round in life, that's just not going to happen.
Okay, that's a good answer. Anybody else in Team Polygamy want to answer that before we go into the question for Team Monogamy?
I would just say real quick, just he needs to do his research so that he can provide a valid, argument when she does have questions, and just think about the questions that she would have, and make sure that he can, deal with it. But I think that as long as he's emotionally stable, and as long as she's emotionally stable, they should be able to have conversations about it. and at least share opinions. But real quick, I just want to tell you, I have to go to a dinner. I'm so sorry. But I'm so sorry I'm late, but thank you for having me. I enjoy, as always, being on your channel.
Peace. I got you. I'll hit you up.
All right, peace.
All right, Queen. Okay, so this one is for Team Monogamy. Okay, if this is from Brother Preem. Got to your question, brother. For Team Monogamy, if a man proved to be capable of providing you with everything you wanted, physically, emotionally, and financially, will his being pro-polygamy be a deal breaker? This is for Team Monogamy. This is
It
for
would be
not.
it would be a deal breaker if I wasn't willing to participate, because obviously this is coming down to a personal decision. So I would have to personally say, well, then I'm not that girl for you.
Okay, so you're saying it would be a deal breaker, even though he could provide you, give you everything you wanted physically, emotionally, and
Right,
financially.
because ultimately, yes, you're supposed to eat healthy and all that, but ultimately, you being happy in a sense is also going to help you live a healthier life. You have to physically be happy, and if I'm not going to be happy in a situation, I'm not going to partake in it.
Okay. Ashley, do
So
you want to answer that question? You're muted.
Okay. Yeah, I would say at that point, when you say, for me, I think the main things are when you say emotionally and just time in general. I mean, even if you just have two wives, if there's a date, I have an event, she has an event, or just in things, I'm, sick, she's sick, or just anything where we both have the same issue at the same time, you have to pick one. You can't it's not always going to work out where you can just have it where, her time is this time, her time is that time. There's going to be overlapping issues, so you really can't give someone 100% emotional support if you're splitting it already by 50% with one woman, and then if it's three of them, it's already 33%. So it's like I don't really see how a man can be emotionally, I would say. Financially, I could see that, because if you have enough money, you can do it. But as far as the other things, you really can't give one woman everything if you're already sharing yourself.
Okay, all right. Does anybody want to rebuttal to that?
Just a simple cliche one that will go as, when two of your kids are sick, who are you gonna pick? It's silly. No, you cater to both of them. What do you mean? Who's gonna be brought the spoon fed the medicine first? It doesn't fucking matter. As long as both of you get well and he takes care of both of you, that's what matters. Like, we need to come off this. That's again battling your sister. If your sister's sick and you want her to get better, so that doesn't just make sense. That you want your sister to get better, so it doesn't matter who he takes care of first. So as he takes care and makes both of you guys better, that's all that matters. If he's financially able to look after you, great, he's giving you some ground. Emotionally, the emotions aren't limited. They're not limited to one woman. They're for everyone. As long as each one of you are treated to hit your each standard, then that's what's great. And both of you are not going to be the same. It will be weird for him to get women who are exactly the same. Each of one of you will have your own personality, like you do now, like we all do now. And you can have one man who can be so diverse and cater to those needs that you ask for.
Okay.
But you keep comparing a love for your child to a love for your wife. There shouldn't really be a comparison between your child's love and then your husband's love. Like, you keep saying you can have more than one child. Yes, because you love your children differently. So it's not really a good basis for that, because it's not the same kind of love. So of course it's different. Like, my child's not gonna feel a certain way if I give her medicine at 2 a.m. and she gets her at 2:05. I mean, that's my children, but a husband is different and a wife is different. You can't
Actually, this is coming from the Facebook chat for you, about exactly what you're saying. My other Facebook chat, they're pretty much asking, well, if pretty much what she was just saying with the children. If I'm trying to rephrase it in a better way than what is put here, but are you saying that love for your children and love for your family, like, you can love your mom, your dad, your sister, are you saying that all these loves cannot be the same type of love that you share for your partner? Because some people will call that unconditional love.
No, well, I mean, to me, I don't think the love for my partner and my child should be the same. I can divorce a husband, I can't divorce my child. So obviously, it's going to be different in that regard.
Mm, okay. Anybody want to add on that before I get to the next question? I'm trying to go rapid fire. Okay, so let's talk about sisterhood. Somebody asked pretty much, do you think this would help the sisterhood in the black community or hurt the sisterhood in the black community? I want to hear from Nas first.
Do I think polygamy would help the sisterhood or
Or hurt it?
hurt it?
Yeah, black
Um,
polygamy.
in this time and space that we live in, it would hurt it all because a lot of women are just not ready or capable of doing that. A lot of women are filled with jealousy. A lot of women are filled with all these different emotions and sharing. I mean, look at Love and Hip Hop. They share men all the time on that show, watching this crazy TV. You know what I mean? Women just can't handle it, and I feel like men don't know how to balance women because men don't understand women for the most part. And they don't understand their role and their responsibility, and they're not sensitive to what will have to be endured because it's like they say, it takes a very strong person to be a part of a polygamous relationship, and we do not live in a society where there are a lot of people like that. That's rare, I should say. That's rare.
Okay, Sally, do you have a rebuttal?
Um, what I would say is polygamy actually does help the sisterhood and can help the sisterhood, maybe I should say, just because when you have issues, you're able to, because you're in a family kind of setting, so you don't just give up on your family, so then you're considering yourself as family, so then you guys have to talk things through, you have to iron the creases. It's not just easy to be like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna leave you, or I'm just gonna leave you now, what I mean? And it helps the kids in that family also build, like, oh wow, communication skills. I really do think it will help, if it's about the black community, yeah, help the sisterhood a lot.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
can
go
I
ahead.
say one more thing?
Yeah.
Like I have best friends who I consider my sister, and I also have my own sister. And at this point in time, I'll do anything for her or them, and they'll do anything for me. So, I don't have to go out and get another sister wife to, have that kind of, support and bond and somebody to talk to, because you could have that within your own family, the one that you were born into. You can get that support. What I mean? My mom sometimes can be my sister. She's always my mom, but I always can confide in her, depend on her, and vice versa. My sister, I can confide in her and depend on her, and vice versa. So I don't need to go out and get another person that my husband is with to confide in or get support from, because you can have that at home already.
Yeah,
Um,
but when you are with your husband, you're not living at home. You're living away from home. So you wouldn't you want to have someone you can confide with daily? That's there with you and knows your situation because you're with that same person that you guys are
No,
communicating
because
with.
I do that now. I'm in constant communication with all my best friends. It's a FaceTime call away.
So then your business is all over the place. Do you know what I mean? With like your friends and stuff, and that's very hard to. No, no. Let me just go and Joe.
I
My
think
business is never all over the place.
okay.
The hard part about sharing your, not the hard part, but the difference between sharing, like trying to deal with your marriage with a co-spouse versus a friend, is when you tell it to your friend, it's going to miss, like it's going to miss out on the perspective of actually being there. Like, you're going to tell the story with whatever your emotions and whatever your side is. Whereas if the other person is there, they can be more aware of the situation as a whole, and then they're not going to just necessarily take your side because they know whatever it is that you're dealing with too, because they're actually facing it as a group. Whereas most of the time,
Okay, well,
they don't know how your husband is. They don't know how things are going on in your house for you. So that's why I would say that your co-spouse would be a more accurate person to get advice from than someone who's not in the situation at all.
I would never, ever, 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 ever feel comfortable with that because, number one, I'm probably nine times out of 10. Let's say I got married tomorrow, and then I got married, and then he ended up wanting to have another wife. I will meet her around later in my life. You know what I'm saying? Where these people, my sisters, my best friends who I've had since childhood, the dynamic would never be like that. There's always understanding and there's always fairness. So I would never even feel like I have to go run to confide into anybody, even if you are living in the same roof as me. I would still run outside my household and say, I gotta talk to you. Because that person does not know who I am and what made me into who I am.
But what she's saying is, on your friends can be all those amazing things you're telling us. But like, if you had a problem with your man and you go to tell your friend, you're still gonna have a biased view of how you're gonna project the situation to them. But if you had as your sister wife and you said that to her, and then she comes, she might sit there and be like, well, really, I don't think that really happened that way because I know he's like this and he's like that. So you have someone who's quite fair to give you a fair judgment and fair and honest advice as well, than just having your friends who are just going to be like, you know what, girl, man, he's a dickhead, or you know what, girl, man, just need to forgive him. No, they're not there, and no, they're not there with you in that house.
Now I have to. I'm sorry, I have to stop y'all there because we're running out of time, so I got to get these last two questions in. Okay.
Yeah.
This question is for Team Monogamy, and the last question will be for Team Polygamy. For Team Monogamy, is there any reason outside of your ego or yourself that you would not practice something that you can see as beneficial for Black people as polygamy? I think the question is pretty much saying, outside of your arguments, outside of the ego or outside of yourself, are there any other reasons that you could find to not do polygamy when you already understand that it's beneficial for the Black community, or that it could be? Anybody?
Because being monogamous could be beneficial to the Black community.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think the premise of what you're saying is that you're trying to say that polygamy is.
You're setting up. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, let me finish. I think the problem is that you're already saying that it's beneficial when the issue is whether or not it is beneficial. So, like I was saying, is that even outside of myself, when I looked at the topic, I wasn't thinking of myself, but just thinking as a person. If you're trying to build something and you want it to be equitable, because to me, I think that a relationship should be equal. Period. Like whether it's man, woman, whatever it is, it should be equal. That should be number one, because if it's not equal, then why even be in it? And then two, I would say, as far as like the Black community, things like I was saying, things that the benefits from it, you can get those benefits without having to have sex with 2, 3, 4 women. I think that's the problem. To me, I feel like it's as if to build the community, you need to just be all kind of bunched together under one man, when that's really not always the best solution for the problems that we have in the Black community.
Okay, Team Polygamy, any rebuttals? Or are we moving on to the next question? Any rebuttals? Anybody got anything to say on that topic?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of
contradictory to say that it takes a really strong person to handle polygamy for the man or the woman, and then say at the same time that it wouldn't be productive for the Black community. Like if you are acknowledging the fact that it takes a stronger level of character, more people.
No.
I never.
The answer to the question, I was answering a question, but
yeah, I didn't say that.
Wait, okay. Which one of us is talking?
No.
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't say that. I don't remember anybody saying that.
Well, what happened was the question was geared as if polygamy is better than monogamy. You know what I'm saying? Whereas there's benefits of monogamy too. Monogamy can benefit the Black community. If everybody practiced polygamy, you think all the issues in the Black community is gonna go away? No.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was really what we were basically answering the question. We know, you know what I mean? We weren't trying to be contradictory, but we were trying to direct that question.
No,
because
Okay.
it was set up. It was set up like polygamy's up here, up top,
Right.
and then
Right.
monogamy's down here. So we had to break that down.
okay, but what I'm saying is, like the things that will get people in the way of being able to do polygamy, like being able to not be threatened by another woman's presence, or for a man to be able to handle the emotions of that many women. Of those kind of things are it's a higher level of character that's not required in a monogamous relationship. So what I'm saying,
Right.
if you're not everybody can do polygamy. Some people will do polygamy and destroy some women, like because they're still just selfish, they're still arrogant, they're still manipulative and all those kinds. It's not going to be for everybody, but for the people who can, the transition that it required for an individual to be able to handle polygamy and do it well, it requires more than monogamy does. Because monogamy, you only have to deal with that one person and just trying to accommodate that one person in their feelings. Being able to
Right, but
body and when they get mad and when they're happy and all those kind of things, it's still something to do with the family, and it requires something stronger.
Okay,
So,
guys,
right.
I gotta
But
get to these questions. I'm sorry. There's another question for Team Monogamy, so I got you right now. But I gotta get to these questions. To be fair, for Team Monogamy, a person either operates in fear or in love. Do you not think that your reasons for not embracing polygamy is based on fear? Fear based on past experiences? Maybe you feel like your husband will see you as inferior in some way compared to the other wife? That's the question to Team Monogamy.
no, it's not. Fear or anything. I just don't see the point. Why? If I would be happy with just one, why would I stress and add something else to it? You know what I mean? If my family is perfectly intact, I love my husband, he loves me, our children love each other, we love our children, we can provide for our children. I see no point. It's
They
just
said
no point.
what about the community?
What
They
about the
I would say,
community?
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll let you
No, no,
talk, cause
because it's like a delay. That's why sometimes I'm interrupting. It's not because it'll stop and then
yeah.
you. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So they
Well,
said to you, and I said, what about the community?
with the community, I feel like if I'm
I,
doing my part in my community, if I'm, supporting kids, like for instance, you can be a mother of the community, whereas if you got kids who, aren't eating and all that, you can feed them, you can help out with them without having to be married to married and sharing their husband. I mean, they're the mothers of these children, you know what I mean? You can have a village type relationship with people without having to have that kind of setting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have
okay,
to have that.
okay. Now, get into it because, like I said, I gotta wrap this up. Now, get into the last question. Um, let me make sure I'm saying it right. This is from a woman. She also chooses to remain anonymous, but she said that her significant other um, pretty much has been asking her about polygamy, and she says that she sees all the benefits, she gets it, she's done her research, and but she just can't get with it. She wants to ask the woman who've been in the polygamous relationships, how did you, how were you able to put yourself aside and being something like that? Because like she says, she sees all the benefits, but she says she just can't do it.
Okay, I'll go with this one first. Okay, being honest, when you see an opportunity, you kind of seize it. And I know that it might sound bizarre, but before I got into polygamous relationship, I was half-hearted. I wasn't all the way like, oh my God, yeah. I was half-hearted because I am a person who I feel a lot of jealousy. I'm hella sensitive, and all these other lower vibrational frequencies that I lay at were bigger factors into it. So you just kind of have to work for yourself. Those are insecurities within yourself and not no one else. That's when love begins with actually just you. So you need to sit back and be like, okay, cool. He wants to pull me into this polygamous relationship. I'm not really ready for it. First of all, if you're not ready for anything and someone's going to put you in a position you're not ready for, walk away. just walk away. And second of all, look in yourself and ask yourself, why can I not handle sharing something with someone who cares about the same man and looks for the same goal within the family unit? Like, what is it about me that can't strive for that kind of beauty? That's how I'd answer that.
I think another thing too is to establish boundaries like upfront. Like I think like there's some certain conversations that we don't want to have because we don't want to come off as being jealous or insecure. But you should just whatever it is that you're worried about, you should say those things out right and then establish boundaries. Like for me, I wasn't comfortable with being my man kissing my his woman in front of me. So I was just like, when we're all together, just please don't do that in front of me. I understand that's what you do, but you don't need to be in a full-on makeout session in front of me. That was like something that I wasn't comfortable with. And you have to be able to have those kind of conversations up front instead of just saying, because you're not, because you don't want to come off, you're afraid of what you may look like in the relationship and you hold things back, then it just builds up and then you go over and do something like that's just more messy. So just being open and honest is
okay. Well, I gotta ask each one of y'all. This is the last thing we're getting out of here. So everybody, I'm gonna ask every person to say either why monogamy or why polygamy. Now, just imagine yourself as some type of commercial, and you really gotta sell it. So whether it's team monogamy or team polygamy, I want you to, in 15 seconds, as much as their Instagram video 2 months ago, okay? 15 seconds, explain why polygamy or why not polygamy. Let's start from Ashley.
Okay. So, team monogamy. Because at the end of the day, the community is built of individuals. So the main thing with the individuals need to be on the same page, to be in sync, need to be united. As far as monogamy, it's balanced, it's one-on-one. And then there are always things with the monogamous relationship they can do to help the community and to address the issues without polygamy. So that's the main, I think is the most important thing, is getting the individuals together, and therefore the community can be more in order. You know, stop the things such as, you know, the single mother thing, you know, kind of work on that. Why is that the issue? You know, things like that. Or the men being incarcerated. Things like that, you can work on it without having to be polygamous.
Okay. Ibasta? I hope I'm saying it right. I was afraid to say it this whole entire time.
It's not an easy name. For team polygamy, I guess, I mean, it's not like it's impossible to have a community monogamy, but we don't see that a lot nowadays. Like for the most part, all of us are just thinking about us and our family and our man and our kids, and we don't have a sense of I see somebody out on the street, let me let them in. And it's not to say that polygamy on its own is going to fix that, but the qualities that it has, it facilitates it better.
Okay. Thank you. Nasira, Selik, monogamy.
Yes, I am pro monogamy because there are benefits to it. However, a man and a woman are the single need for a civilization. For a civilization to grow and continue on into the future, you need a man and a woman, and that's the basic essential of it. You know what I mean? Like you need a single. We all started from a single cell, and then we evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved. But that single cell is essential to our makeup as people. So two people is enough. More than that, you get chaos. And right now, majority of our society is not ready for all that chaos because they got chaos with just themselves, and then when they get with one person, another person, they got more chaos. So polygamy just kind of just adds to the fire.
Okay. All right, Sally. What is your reason? Tell us on polygamy.
So if we're just going to talk about on the fact of survival, it builds a lot of wealth. Easy. If you're going to talk about building character within yourself and bringing you into a different, higher dimension, it does that because you have people from different, in that family unit who are able to help you through a lot of things and see factors about you that help you build. The challenges you're going through will help you create a lot of strength within you. So, we're warriors. So, team polygamy.
All right. Now I must ask everybody to give where they can find you and what project you're working on quickly. in the same order. So Ashley, go first in the same order, where they can find you, and what you're working on, if anything. You don't have to be working on anything, but if you're working on something, this is the perfect time to promote and sell it. Same order. Ashley.
I don't remember who went first.
So my Instagram is Caramel Ashley with 2 Y's on the end. Right now I'm a college grad, so I'm working. Also, I do lots of travel, so I will be coming out with like a travel blog thing. Anybody that know me know I travel a lot, so I'm trying to, make it into like kind of a business as well. So look out for it. Like I said, Caramel Ashley, 2 Y's at the end.
Right.
Is it my turn?
It's Ibasta's turn.
You're after me.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't remember the order.
It's fine.
My Instagram is Awaken in Truth. So AWAKENINTRUTH. I'm a graphic and web designer. So if you want to start a business, you need a logo, business cards, whatever, you can hit me up at www.impressionsbyjoe.com, and I'll be doing that.
All right. Let's go to Nas.
Okay, yes, my name is Nasira. The short version of it is Nas. You can find me on Facebook at Nasira McEady, NACEIRRA, McEady, MC, capital EADY, or on Instagram at brownpecan_, no spaces in between. Right now I'm working on a project with my cousin. Actually, she owns a dance studio, and our whole mission is bringing dance back to Camden. I'm a dance teacher, yes, and a dancer. Is bringing dance back to Camden, which is an inner city with a whole bunch of different struggles. And right now I'm working on our June show, which is June 18th coming up, and I'm excited. It's called A City Full of Wishes. It's called A City Full of Wishes, and we're so excited. We asked each individual child, what they wish for, and these kids got deep, with them being from the inner city. Some of them wish that heaven had visiting hours. Some of them said, I wish that, my aunt would come home from the airport. They said, I wish my dad was in my life, and all that. So we took all these kids' wishes and we turned it into a show. So I can't wait.
I love that. We gotta talk about that. I love that, and it's on my birthday. Love that. All right, Sally.
Yeah, I love that too. Okay, so I'm a comedic teacher trainee, also a model and a newbie vlogger. So all my social media is from SoundCloud, which I have podcasts on there. I have my new YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. My like page on Facebook is Just Me Sally. So JUSTMESALLY, one word, Just Me Sally. That's how.
Just Me Sally. Okay, you guys know you can find me at Alchemets. That's AL_KEMETS. And my name's Elohim Ali. That's not Elohim spelled with an I, it's Elohim with 2 E's. Okay. Last but not least, the new Bible. You guys know I've been working on it for like 3 years now. June 18th is when the mixtape comes out, but it's only gonna be out for a day. Only a day. Only out for download for a day. It'll be out for download for a day, but you can get the literature version, you can get the short film, and the mixtape September 9th, 2016 for $3. Only $3. You got no excuse not to help me out and get it. Last but not least, the new Bible is not a religious movement. It is actually all about the answers coming from within. God is you. Christ is you. The prophets are you. It's all from within. You do not need a scripture, a book, a church, nor a temple to tell you what is in yours. Thank y'all so much for participating in this event. All of you queens are beautiful, and all y'all have beautiful information. You are all intelligent, and I hope to do more events with y'all in the future. We have people from the UK, from Camden. We just had it all. It was crazy. So I really appreciate y'all. I know this is your time. It's a Sunday, it's nighttime. I know you guys got things to do. I'm a school teacher, so you already know I have to get off soon and start that lesson planning. Probably not going to do that. Probably going to make some pizza. All right, y'all. Love you all. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. Please subscribe, and follow all of these queens. They deserve it. Thank you. Peace.